Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're here to really cut through the noise and get to what matters. And today we are tackling that preseason scramble, that feeling of the last-minute gear check, the frantic scouting that, man, I wish I'd done this sooner's moment. Our Deep Dive today, it's based on a really fantastic piece by Laura Herboltheimer over on the American Hunt and Lease Association website. And it really shows why the quote-unquote off-season isn't just downtime. It's actually your best secret weapon against all that stress. It's really about turning that potential panic into, well, a powerful, confident advantage, setting you up way before opening day.
Yeah, absolutely. What really jumps out from that source is how this off-season prep isn't just like checking off boxes. It's more about building a really solid framework for making decisions later on. The article hints that doing this groundwork, it doesn't just cut down stress. It actually sharpens your intuition, makes you adapt faster when things get unpredictable out in the field. It's kind of like preloading your hunting operating system for success, this kind of intentional year-round approach. That's what really separates the truly diligent hunters from everyone else.
Okay, so let's unpack that. Starting with the first big area. Practice, practice, practice. The source makes it super clear. This is the time to practice not just your shot, but the entire shooting process, making it completely natural, totally fluid. So for firearm users, that means actually scheduling range days, taking quality shots, not just blasting away, practicing at different yardages you might actually face, and trying out different shooting methods for different situations. There's a quote in there that really stuck with me. The harder the practice, the easier your shot in the field will be. Well, it's not just muscle memory, though, is it? Like, what's the specific psychological edge you get from that harder practice?
Well, that quote really nails it, doesn't it? It's definitely more than just hitting the bullseye. When you practice hard, really rigorously in the off season, you're basically reducing the mental load when that big moment happens. When that trophy buck finally steps out. Your body, your mind, they just know the motions, so you're not second guessing your form or your aim. It cuts down on that decision fatigue, lets you react instinctively, confidently, right when it counts. And, for archery folks, whether it's a compound bow or a crossbow, the idea is exactly the same. Yeah, 20 or 30 yards is common for practice, but the source really highlights focusing on form consistency at those ranges. Are you hitting your anchor point perfectly, following through every single time? It's about ironing out those little wrinkles now so your shot process is identical, whether it's a quick 15-yard shot or something longer later on.
Right. And it's so easy to kind of dismiss the simple stuff, isn't it? Like even practicing with a BB gun or, other training tools. It reinforces those basics, helps you avoid being, as the source puts it, the hunter that missed a shot because they failed to do any practice. Sounds simple, but it's really fundamental. Yeah.
Totally fundamental.
So, okay, you've honed your shooting skills.
Hmm.
But how do you translate that personal readiness into actually understanding the land and the animals? Which I think brings us perfectly to the next point, scouting and strategy. The off-season seems to offer some really unique advantages here.
Oh, absolutely. You've hit on something really key there. The off-season isn't just for planning your strategy. It's for getting insights you just can't get during the season. Think about it. How much clearer are bedding areas before all the leaves come out?
Right, before everything greens up.
Exactly. Or how you can spot those subtle travel corridors that deer use when there's less pressure. Corridors that would be totally masked by hunter activity later. Setting up trail cams early, for example, that lets you see deer patterns when they're less spooked. Gives you real predictive intel on their undisturbed behavior. It's like seeing the hidden blueprint of their lives.
So it's about finding those hidden gems and laying the groundwork when most other folks aren't even thinking hunting yet. Does the source talk much about the best way to approach scouting new areas, especially, say, private land?
It does, yeah. The off-season is definitely the prime time to ask for permission on new private lands. Landowners are usually less swamped then, maybe more receptive before the fall rush.
Makes sense. Build that relationship early.
Exactly. It's a great window for that. And also for exploring any public land you have access to. You're looking for those spots with good deer movement, thinking about where a tree stand or a ground blind might work best. And this is also the perfect time to start thinking about your early season strategy. When it's warmer, crops are still standing maybe. Deer patterns will change, obviously, as the season goes on, but getting that baseline understanding now, food, water, bedding areas, it's invaluable. The source is really explicit. Having multiple game plans and strategies written down or in mind will help tremendously. Basically, the more work you do now.
The less guesswork later.
Precisely. The less guessing and worrying you will do when it is hunting time.
Yeah, less guessing and worrying always sounds good to me. Makes for a much better experience overall.
Yep.
Okay, so beyond the strategy piece, the source then really gets into preparations.
Okay.
Those crucial tasks that tend to trip people up right at the last second, create all that unnecessary headache. What are some of the big practical things here for avoiding that hassle?
Well, one of the biggest, maybe the most basic, is just knowing exactly where you plan to hunt. Nail that down. If you manage your own private property, now is the time for habitat work. You know, food plots, maybe some timber stand improvement, things like that.
Getting your hands dirty.
Yep. And like we said, if you need to ask permission for private land access, do it now. Don't wait until August or September. Then there's the big one, inventorying gear and equipment. And that means really going through everything, making lists. What do you need? What needs fixing?
Like getting your bow restrung.
Exactly. Don't wait until September when the shops are swamped. Do it now. Got gear that's seen better days. Identify it, make a list, start budgeting for replacements. The source has a great line. Your spouse will thank you for budgeting and not spending hundreds and hundreds of dollars at one time right before season.
Yeah, I can see that being true. Spreading the cost out.
Definitely. And critically important, test and maintain your tree stands and your safety gear. Your harness, your lines, do it well before setting them up. You absolutely do not want to find a faulty buckle when you're 20 feet off the ground.
Oh, man. No kidding. That's the nightmare scenario. Or like trying to sight in a brand new scope the night before opening day.
Yeah.
Or fumbling with some new harness in the pitch dark. We've all been there, probably. It's awful.
Exactly. The source really emphasizes that trying things out in the off-season is key to avoiding those, frankly, preventable heartaches. Been thinking about a new rangefinder, or maybe a new backpack. Get it now. Try it out on a hike or at the range. Because, like the article says, there is nothing worse than getting new equipment right before the season starts and finding out it is a pain in the butt come hunting season.
So true. Work out the kinks now.
Right. And this whole proactive mindset applies to other stuff too, like really getting to know your land better, maybe mapping deer activity you observed last year, refreshing mineral sites, looking for sheds that tells you who made it through winter.
Shed hunting is great for scouting too, right?
Oh, absolutely. Tells you where bucks were spending time late season, reviewing your trail cam pics from last year, pre and post season, finding backup spots. It all adds up.
It really paints a picture of continuous learning, doesn't it? Not just a single event.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, and finally, there's an aspect that's, maybe easily overlooked, but the source really flags it as vital. Body prep. It poses that important question, are you physically ready for what your hunt actually demands?
Yeah, this is about investing in your hunting engine, so to speak, your own body. It's not just about the fancy gear or the perfect spot. It's about your physical readiness. And depending on what kind of hunting you do, maybe it's long hikes in steep country, maybe it's just sitting still in the cold for hours, or maybe it's the massive effort of dragging out a big animal.
Yeah, that drag out can be brutal. It really can. You need to make sure your body can handle those specific pressures. A decent fitness plan, just a routine you develop during the off-season, it will absolutely pay dividends when it's time to, put boots on the ground or drag out that monster buck. The goal isn't necessarily to become a marathon runner. Just be fit and healthy enough for your hunt. Make sure your body is as prepped as your gear.
Okay, so wrapping this all up, the core message from this deep dive seems pretty clear. Having a good routine, a solid game plan for the off-season, it just dramatically cuts down on stress. And it really does lead to a more fruitful hunting season in the end. It's all about being proactive, right? Building that confidence through the preparation itself. Putting yourself in the best position to succeed. Absolutely. And, this diligence, this attention to detail during the off-season, it reflects a much bigger principle, I think. It goes beyond just hunting success. It's about foresight, about intentional effort. It's understanding that the work you put in now really compounds. It builds greater success, greater confidence later on, whether you're in the woods or, frankly, just navigating other challenges in life.
Couldn't agree more. That preparation really does breed confidence, doesn't it? So for you listening, here's something to think about as we wrap up. Considering everything we've talked through today, what's the first tactical move? The first step you're going to take in your hunting off-season game plan this year? Or maybe think even broader. How could applying this kind of off-season diligence, this focused preparation, to any goal you have, how may that impact your future success? The whole point is to map things out, and not put off what you can actually get done today.